All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on how there's a lot of people out there that are fake tough guys that think that they've got the carnal strength to be able to handle themselves in the world. But in reality, Yahweh is going to cause for all of these people's strength that they have, that they think that they have, to be made a mocking stock, man. Because what you got here is this one guy that called himself the Iranian Hulk, right? And on the left-hand side, you can see his images, right? You got these pictures of this guy, right? And this is what apparently they're trying to say that he tried to make out that he looks like, right? But in reality, the guy don't look like this. These pictures are photoshopped. His legs and his feet are not that big. His traps are not that big. This is not what this guy really looks like in real life, man. And let me show you what he really looks like, right? He really looks like this in this image that you can see here on the right-hand side. And you can clearly see that the image on the right-hand side and the image on the left-hand side do not match. They're not in any way, shape, or form the same, right? They're not even close to being the same. And these images right here, they're not close to being the same. This is the image that he faked to try and say that he looks like both these images on the left here and on the right here, right? But in reality, this is what the guy really looks like on the right-hand side, man. On the right-hand side is what he really looks like. But through social media and Photoshop and all of these fake things that this society pushes, he was able to fake and make out it looks like a juggernaut like you see on the left-hand side. But in reality, he looks like what he looks like on the right-hand side, which is still a big guy, I guess you can say that, right? But the point is that what he thought he had and the skills that he thought he had, he ended up getting made a mocking stock, man, and ended up getting handed to him, his ass handed to him by a guy much smaller than him. And I'm going to play this. Let's watch this. The guy that's the Iranian Hulk guy is the guy that's in the blue, by the way, right? And let's play this. Now, at the risk of sounding like Teddy Atlas, I'm going to say this. If anyone knows anything about combat sports or knows anything about fighting in general, right? One of the main rules of fighting is to keep your eyes on your opponent and to never turn your back to them, right? One of the first things that you hear in boxing is protect yourself at all times. Now, if you're in a real fight and you turn your back to somebody, that's a problem. If you're in a boxing match and you turn your back on somebody, again, that's also a problem. But this guy was promoting himself as some kind of tough guy, some kind of juggernaut. But in reality, he couldn't fight. Now, let me go to the scriptures, man. All right? Because you've got a lot of people in this world that they are trusting in their wisdom, or they're trusting in their might, or they're trusting in their riches. But those things are going to be made as a joke when Yahweh brings his wrath upon the earth. This is Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom. So it's not about how smart you are. Neither let the mighty man glory in his might, which is what this lesson's about. Don't let the fact that you go to the gym and you can bench press a couple of plates on each side, 3, 4, 2, 8, whatever you weight that you can do. Don't let that make you think that you're above rebuke. Or don't make that think that you're above having to worry about the wrath that Yahweh is going to bring upon the earth. Because it clearly says in the scriptures, for every battle of the warrior is with garments rolled in blood and confused noise. Roughly paraphrasing this scripture, by the way. But this one is going to be with flames and fuel of fire. And you know what? Let me find that. Let me find the scripture that I'm talking about. This is Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Meaning that it's not going to be about how tough you are with hand-to-hand combat, how tough you are with an axe, with a sword, with a spear, with some nunchucks, with a shield, with a broadsword, with any of these weapons of warfare that people think about, with a battle axe, with a mallet, with a spiked mallet. None of these things ain't gonna matter, man. With a samurai sword, with a I don't know, with some throwing stars, you know, with some poison darts. None of that's gonna matter, man. It doesn't matter if you can smite people under the fifth rib like the Israelite warriors used to do in the past. None of that stuff's gonna matter. Because this guy would have probably intimidated certain people, man. But when he got made to show his might and to show his glory, Yahweh decided to choose one man over the other. And ultimately, Yahweh decided who's going to win a battle. And let me play this again. That looks like he was getting bullied for his pocket money up in there, man. That was abysmal, right? That was abysmal. He didn't have the stamina. He didn't have the speed. He didn't have the natural aggression required to fight, right? But he's promoted himself as a big, tough guy in this world, right? And I only found out maybe a couple of weeks ago that this guy don't even really look like that image that he's promoting out there, man. He photoshopped his foot size. That's how much this guy is promoting his tough guy image, right? He wanted to promote himself as a tough guy, but when he got made to be able to show his strength in the ultimate form of testing your strength and your might, which is a fight, he didn't have the strength available, man. And Yahweh embarrassed him. And that's why I'm using this guy for Israelites to see this, man. Because I don't care about that guy. He's not one of our people anyway, more than likely. So I'm saying this for Israelites, so that we cannot think that our tough guy stuff that we might have, that we can go gym and do leg press with 500 kilograms and all that, that we can do all of these strength feats, that we can do a wall sit and all of that, that we can run miles, that we can do clap press-ups, pull-ups, all of these burpees and all of that stuff. That don't mean nothing, man. Doesn't matter about our body fat percentage. None of that matters. The thing that matters is that Yahweh is going to have mercy on us in the day of wrath. Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23 does say, if Yahweh let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am Yahweh, to exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. So all these people that say don't swear, you can't swear, so we can't swear, right? But Yahweh is going to kill people. What's the right way to warn people that Yahweh is going to kill people for the wickedness that's happening on the earth? What's the nice way to let people know that Yahweh is going to send nuclear missiles that are going to melt people? He's literally going to melt people. Their eyes are going to consume away while they stand upon their feet. Their tongue's going to melt away in their mouth, and their eyes are going to consume away in their holes while they stand upon their feet, man. What's the nice way to tell people that? That's not a nice thing to say. So there's not a nice way to tell people that. Verse 25, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will punish all them which are circumcised, meaning the Israelites, with the uncircumcised, meaning the heathens, Egypt and Judah and Edom and the children of Ammon and Moab, and all that are in the uttermost corners that dwell in the wilderness. For all these nations are uncircumcised, and the house of Israel are uncircumcised in heart. So we ain't supposed to care about our might, man, and our glory that we can have in our body, because these bodies have did too much sins to go into the kingdom with us, man. We need a new body. These bodies, these bodies are not what it is, man. These bodies ain't where it's at. We need a new one, man. And we want a new one also. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 27, but God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and Yahweh hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. So that's why people have always got a problem with the way our Israelites say things, because the Israelite man is not glorified in this world, man. People are happy to sit down and watch Rishi Sunak talk what he's talking. They're happy to sit down and have Bill Gates tell them something. They're happy to sit down and hear Elon Musk talk, Tony Blair talk, Liz Truss talk, Theresa May talk, right? They're happy to hear their speeches on what the right thing is to do and what the wrong thing is to do, because that's the image of this world. But the image of the world to come is being disrespected, and people are going to have to pay for the disrespect that they've did, man. Verse 28, and the base things of the world and the things which are despised have Yahweh chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, because that guy is a tough guy in this world, that Iranian Hulk. He was getting a whole bunch of respect, praise from people, but now that pride that he had has been brought low. People are mocking him now, because they realize that he didn't really have what it takes, man. Because there's been other guys that have been big guys or whatever that have done the fighting thing, but they didn't turn their head away from their opponent. They actually had within them the spirit to want to fight. But he looks like he's never been punched once in his life in his face. He looks like he's never had a fight in his life, man. A middleweight fighter would be able to hand it to him. Just a middleweight amateur somewhere in some club, in some random club somewhere over in the UK, mate. Let's say London, because that's the main place for boxing over here. Or some random middleweight that's been training for like 3 years would be able to handle him in a fight. Verse 29, that no flesh should glory in his presence. So this guy was glorying in his presence. Look at this guy. He was glorying, man. He was talking about calling out this guy for wanting to have a fight, right? But this guy is like 6'8" or something crazy like that. The guy that he looked like he was losing to in that fight didn't probably look like there was even much more than 6 foot. But he got his ass handed to him, man. Let me play it again. Because people in this world, they worship these gym guys, man. But look what happened to this guy. Like, this ain't no thing to mock this particular guy, right? It's a thing to show the world that being a tough guy don't mean nothing in the eyes of Yahweh. Because Yahweh can always set up another guy tougher than you. Yahweh can always set up somebody else that can lift 1 more kilogram than you can lift. That can do 1 more rep than you can rep. That can run 1 more mile than you can run. That's 1 second faster than you. People in the crowd, why is he turning around? They're saying he's obvious. Anyone that knows anything about fighting knows why he's turning around, because he's scared, right? When someone's running away, they're scared, man. When these wicked Edomite police officers, when he's shooting an Israelite man in his back that's running away, that Israelite man was running away from him because that man was scared. You see? Running away is a sign of fear when it's a fighting situation. That man was scared in this ring. But he let promoting himself and this fake world hype him up to get embarrassed, man. And I'm going to carry on playing. Have a look at this guy a second again, right? And then just look at this image here that he tried to make out like he looks like, man. This guy clearly does not look like this, man. He does not look like this. He don't look like that, man. That's not this image, what he's showing here as himself to look like, is not real, man. And some people might say, oh, nah, that was before. He fell off a bit. No, man. He does not. His chest is not that broad in the image on the right-hand side. And he's doing the same stance. He's not that size, man. Your forearms are not going to shrink by like 2 inches in such a short time, man. You see? That's a fake image, man. That's this fake internet stuff that has made a lot of people get hyped. Look at the size of the guy's forearms, man. That's fake. That's Photoshop, man. That's Photoshopped. These pictures are. Look, here we go again. Photoshopped, man. That's him on the left, and that's him on the right. That's what he really looks like. Here's another one. That's fake, man. But that's how he was trying to promote himself as looking. But he's fake, though. He even photoshopped the size of his feet, man. You understand? The guy photoshopped the size of his feet, but then when he had the time to really show what he was about, look at what we see, man. And that's why we as Israelites shouldn't be pushing us being a tough guy. Because all the athletes that we've got, all the multitude of, for an Israelite to be strong and to be powerful is minor, right? That's nothing, man. That's nothing for our nation. There's plenty of Israelites right now, if you used to put them under a training program for the next 2 years, that they'd be able to run 100 meters in at least 10 seconds, man. And I'm talking about Israelite that you could just find out on the street somewhere. If you just train them up for 2 years, they'd probably be able to run 100 meters in about 10 seconds. Plenty of Israelites that can do that. That's nothing for our nation, man. So we ain't supposed to boast in that. Yahweh was clear that the elder was that one people was going to be stronger than the other people. The Israelites are stronger than every other nation, physically, clearly. We're stronger than them mentally too, when we're in our right mind. But we ain't supposed to glorify them things. We're supposed to glorify that we understand and know Yahweh, that he kills and makes alive, that he makes poor, that he makes rich. And in doing that, we never boast in ourselves, but we boast in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And that our glory is in that. We don't glorify in money that we have in our bank. We don't glorify in our car. We don't glorify in our house. We don't glorify in our strength. We don't glorify that we might be able to get women. We don't glorify that we know this. We don't glorify even that we know the scriptures. Because us knowing that came from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. Let me carry on playing this. So there you have it. And the other guy wasn't even that. The other guy wasn't even that trained himself, man. He was still making mistakes that people make in fighting as well. You see what I mean? He was still making certain mistakes too, man. Regarding such things. But the point I'm making is that we ain't supposed to get cocky about our own physical attributes, because Yahweh can always humble us, man. Right? And I'm going to end the lesson there. Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.